Did you know that martial law can be enacted if the government is shut down for more than a week? Did you know that red 40 turns your internal organs red? And that if you breathe really, really fast, you can give yourself a heart attack? Well, no, you didn't, because none of these things are true.
None of it's true. It's BS.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Emergency and welcome back to my channel. As you may have gathered, this video we're going to be talking about the phenomenon online that seems to be the accumulation of the rise of anti-intellectualism, spread of misinformation, and the bad faith actors that profit off of this. Do not trust every influencer you see tell you something online just because they say it confidently. And that includes me. And I really hope with this video we learn that we owe it to ourselves to keep ourselves informed and make educated opinions and to have discernment. And if anything, do it out of spite of the powers that be that benefit from ignorance and internet rage bait. But it's time we talk about the rise of misinformation online. Misinformation online is nothing new really, but as technology and social media platforms evolve, so do the channels in which misinformation also evolve. And it's becoming harder and harder to disprove. And actually, not just harder to disprove, it feels like a certain je ne sais quoi in the air, that people just aren't as compelled to fact check what they see online. And as we will get into, there may be a few factors as to why. It's also important to understand the media landscape that we're dealing with right now. According to the Pew Research Center, 1 in 5 Americans now regularly get their news from TikTok, which is surprising up from 2020. But like when you think about it, the app the administration right now threatened to ban unless they control it is now the source. Not a reliable one, but a source nonetheless, for something that people are taking to be true, regardless of its credibility. Anyone could say anything on TikTok, and the loss of credibility is at an all-time high, and you could see it in all spheres. Like we live in times now where now a man who's lived in his mother's basement and hates women can start a podcast about knowing about women and how you should treat them, and people will still listen. Like, where are the credentials? And obviously this isn't some elitist BS, but you have to have some sort of experience or at least education or apprenticeship to know how to do certain jobs, or else you end up with the slop of information that we've been getting. And this goes for any news topic. Kind of like that discourse that was happening a while ago about influencer interviews for like movie press junkets or like red carpets, where they would ask insane, boring, or just generally inappropriate questions. And to that I say, yeah, no duh, that happened, because a lot of them aren't journalists. Some of them are, and some of them are very deep. But the majority of people taking those jobs at that time were not journalists or have any experience doing that sort of thing. Like, that's a whole profession. And it just feels like a few things are happening right now that definitely inform each other. For one, namely the public court of TikTok opinion, the whole making of a spectacle. Public opinion has been a thing. I mean, just think of the tabloids back in the day. But now what we have is a whole slew of opinions readily accessible right in the palm of our hands. And no shade, usually these opinions are a little lackluster in the nuance department. And then we have that combo with the fact of just general lax fact checking coming both from the individual and large scale social media companies. I mean, sure, when people want to doom scroll and or brain rot, I guess you won't pull out the academia in you and look up every single thing you see. But when it comes to fact-based information, I wouldn't take what we see online, specifically on TikTok and Instagram, too seriously, because these platforms are seriously biased, skewed, and as we've seen time and time again, rage bait is really the currency to farm engagement, which of course, in turn creates profitability regardless of how factual the information actually is, or as ridiculous as it is, which is why the onus is on us as the viewer to really have this due diligence, or really consider how seriously we take the things we may see online. And of course, we can't have this conversation without also talking about how creators must take accountability before posting. Like asking yourself, is what you're posting actually insight or just adding more gasoline to the untamable fire? And like, I get it, especially if this is your livelihood. I understand why we creators engagement bait, but also like we can have standards for what we create. We don't have to give in to the gossip talk of it all, the Mr. Beastification, if you will, of content creation. Or at least I hope. Now for the companies out there, I'm sure you thought you got away from this, but you most definitely did not. Miley, what's good?
Miley, what's good?
These companies are profiting heavily off of our engagement and our attention. So obviously they don't care as much as long as there's watch time, views, likes, comments, etc. Our attention staying online is all that matters. So morality or public responsibility are clearly nowhere in sight. And we've previously seen this when platforms like Twitter or Meta gave us and then promptly removed fact checkers as well as flagging content as bias. Yeah, pointing out their own carelessness with what content gets propagated and by who? Like having Trump's account always get flagged for misinformation probably wasn't the best look for them. But all of that was definitely shooting themselves in the foot. So like, notice how those things just don't exist anymore, or at least not in the same way as they were initially intended. Right. What I mean to say is that all of this is to their benefit, that people spread fear mongering, misinformation, and rage bait, especially when our administration fits that demographic of spreading that kind of content. And now I know y'all hate to hear me coming around with my inconvenient spiel, so I'll keep it short for this one. At the end of the day, the night, if you will, it takes time and effort to have a well-informed opinion, and it's convenient to believe that the creators that you come across in your manicured, tailored algorithm will automatically give you that, because it really would be tiring to have to do your research on everything, especially with as much as we got going on in the world. But also at the same time, we do have to not have as punitive of an opinion on everything as we do, which we're going to touch on shortly. Now, as I've alluded to, a large part of this is due to the rise of anti-intellectualism, and I have a video talking about that extensively. So if you want to know more about that, you should definitely go check out that video. But one third thing about the rise of anti-intellectualism and mis and disinformation has definitely created is the new culture that we now see in comment sections, specifically in TikTok comment sections.
Someone commented being like, oh, you like lesbians now? Because last year you were a lesbian hater. I was like, Diva, I have had to make a conscious effort to talk about lesbians less because I'm concerned that it's getting weird. For a good run there, I was like getting parasocial. Who are you talking about? That is not true. And someone else saw that comment and replied and was like, what? No, like not him. I think what bothers me, no shade to the person if you're seeing this, what bothered me was that it wasn't a question. It wasn't a, when did this happen? Can you tag me in a video? Can you prove this? As someone who's online, as a consumer, I'm like, y'all, there has to be like a healthy and holistic approach to like consuming social media content. The assumption that every single thing you see in a comment section is true is such a dangerous precedent to move forward with. And while yes, I do think that there's some bad faith actors, bots, whatever you want to call it, I also think that if we're saying that the kids can't read, I'm not necessarily trusting you to retell me the story because I don't know that you can spell. So the assumption that because we read it in a comment section, it's suddenly inducted into the great American literary lexicon is just a little silly to me.
Now, it's no secret to any creator or really just anyone with eyes that the comment sections are notoriously one hell of a place. A place where everyone has a strong or sometimes funny opinion, and it doesn't really matter if you know what you're talking about or not. Like, I don't know why, but like if you read comments, you cannot take them at face value because these people oftentimes are liars. Like specifically these people online, like you are lying unprovoked for what? Like obviously this isn't the case 100% of the time, but like why is it still a good portion of the comments? Like really what happened to if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say it at all. And I really do think the whole slander and misinformation in comment section has evolved with what I like to call the blue comment effect on TikTok. Meaning if you've ever been on TikTok, you know, like if someone comments a word that is highly searched, the comment turns blue and becomes essentially searchable, and oftentimes leads you down a rabbit hole of a lot of other videos talking about the similar topic. But what's happened, at least culturally online, is that when you now see a blue comment, people are now assuming that whatever that is must be true, or at least an actual thing, even when there's nothing relevant that actually comes up when you click on that blue comment. Like literally 80% of the time I see this, the blue comment adds nothing new or has any corresponding TikToks. Or even scarier, it's one of those AI news videos, which yeah, I'm not believing that if it's the only piece of media referring to whatever topic. And while we're talking about TikTok mis and disinformation, have y'all ever tried clicking any of the trending topics when you search something on TikTok? Like it's about 50-50 whether or not you're gonna get something actually relevant to the content attached to it. Either that or the trending topic happened 3 months ago. Like it's just generally really confusing because you got me to click on it, but like there's no supporting evidence in there. So what are we doing? And as a little side note, I think we need to find this generation's version of like Nancy Drew games, puzzles if you will, detective, mystery media, because I think kids used to play that a lot more often and honestly was a big reason behind why people would ask questions, gather evidence, and put the pieces together in a logical way. But like, what do the kids have now? Like we've talked about this many times, like the kids are not all right. They are not writing DBQs. We need to bring back DBQs in education. Because the people need to relearn how to critically think, how to take pieces of evidence, put it together, and come up with a logical conclusion based off of that. Like not just stringing together vibes and calling it a day, okay? Like it feels like we really just don't know where to find reputable sources anymore. And that kind of leads me to like a side point around like Wikipedia, because historically, at least in an academic setting, Wikipedia has always been seen as like a not trustworthy source, or at least not a reputable source. And I saw a really interesting TikTok about that and how like specifically Wikipedia is not academically credible, but like in a general sense is like pretty credible for like the information that's being provided. And it's just wild to me that Wikipedia has become a somewhat trusted source these days. But like, I get it. Like relative to TikTok, it is more trustworthy, which is wild. But the next part of this conversation that I wanted to talk about revolves around the disinformation and misinformation that circulates around controversial events. And I bring this up not necessarily fearmonger, but to say that we need to be especially careful around controversy online nowadays, both now and moving into the future, because y'all don't want to hear it. But with the rise of things like AI and generative AI videos, narratives can be easily spun and truth can be quickly warped, because we've already seen the masses be tricked into believing AI videos as being the truth for incredibly harmless and innocuous things, which also then means that we are susceptible to falling for things that are used for a little bit more malicious practices.
I'm just going to say this plainly. You got to be careful about who you agree with online. like what takes you're agreeing with online, because they can and will lead you down some very tricky and malicious pipelines. And next thing you know, like you're agreeing with things like you never would have thought you would agree with or believe in. Because with all the discourse that's going on right now with the DoorDash lady, or the lady who was fired from DoorDash, and how the narrative is like flipping on her, it's important to see like who is pushing that narrative. Like go to profiles, see who these people are and what generally their beliefs and takes are on things. Go on the comments and see. The pipeline will look pretty all right, because this is very similar to Gamergate.
And like I said in that TikTok, we do need to be careful about who we're listening to and give a little extra thought as to why a creator or just someone posting a video would post that video. Like, what are the intentions, the goals, and benefits of posting something inflammatory, controversial, or even just socially relevant? Which leads me to the conversation around the cash grab of influencer reporting, or just regular poster reporting / discourse for engagement. Now, obviously, I'll come out and admit it. I am a content creator. So no, this is not to bash on influencers, but of course, there are creators whose content lends itself better to commenting on controversial situations, as the lovely lady Miss K mentions in her video.
In situations like this one is how you guys consume it. And I really want you to pay attention to a lot of the creators making videos with really strong, decided opinions based on the evidence as if they're litigators or defense attorneys. You know, the people making a ton of views off of this topic, what kind of content they make, because you want to know what a lot of them are. They're true crime podcasters, they're gossip bloggers, they're new age gossip bloggers. Quite a few of them are TikTok mediums. So I really want you guys to think about, in a digital landscape where people for whatever reason seem to value above all else having a gut feeling about something being off, who the you're actually listening to, who you are letting influence your thoughts, and why you enjoy so much partaking in these really morbid, weird debates where there really is no end goal and there is no real discussion or discourse.
And yeah, it's true. Like, of course, there are always going to be the gossip influencers, the true crime influencers, etc., etc. But when it comes to things that are really controversial, it's important to ask, what value is this really bringing besides increased engagement? Like, there are pages and creators whose whole niche is based on commenting and circulating the same regurgitated point around chronically online discourse, which is fine. And I'm not one to talk, because I'd be talking about Gen Z left, right, and sideways. But again, it's always important to interrogate why they're posting the content in the way that they are. Because sometimes, not every time, but sometimes their ways of thinking and agendas might be a little more nefarious than you may think. Meaning, you need to pay attention to who you're listening to and letting influence how you think. Blindly believing something about someone because you read a comment about them is nuts. Like, guys, we have to wake it up.
This is a comment I got from this woman. I'm going to read what she said and I'll show you on the screen. She says, "I like your takes, but I don't know about this one." I say, "Can you elaborate?" She says, "Oh wait, I actually rewatched, read some of the comments, understood what you were saying. I saw a video just before this one, wanted to get clarity because your takes are usually good. Context is key." I say, "Yeah, I think I know the video. They removed a lot of context. I was very specific not to mention gender because I wanted to make sure she knew." She goes, "Yes, she did." I work so hard to make these discussions as nuanced as I can, to try and make them generous and careful and precise. I don't always get it right. I don't, and I know that, and I probably could have chosen better words for the linguistics one I did the other day, quite ironically. But if you're gonna take my words, if you're gonna rip them apart and add to them and feed them back into the algorithm with no context, just know that not only are you misrepresenting me, you're a liar. You're a liar and a bad person. You're a bad person. And you're ruining a space with me and my audience that is about having meaningful conversation.
And I know, I get it. It's hard to want to critically think in a time when everything is just siphoning your energy. But unfortunately, or fortunately, we have to if we want to remain well-informed people. So please, next time you see some drama on TikTok, sometimes it is as simple as just watching the full video that's being stitched before leaving a comment or just blindly believing what's being said. Like, even in this example, notice how people in the comments of the video are people apologizing because they believed a video stitch that clipped what this guy was saying. Like, it's unfortunate, but sometimes people have malicious or at least just uninformed intent sometimes. Like, Like, you have to have your wits about you. You have to practice media literacy, and don't blindly believe everything that you hear and let that inform your own opinion. And again, I don't say that in like a conspiracy, you can't believe everything that you hear way, but just like in a general, like there is a rise in misinformation, and you should be doing the due diligence to make sure what you're saying, what you're talking about is sound and actually based in reality. And unfortunately, when it comes to that previous video, it's not just a one-off situation. Especially on platforms like TikTok, it is so common to have people clip the fuck people say and intentionally misconstrue the point that's actually trying to be made. And again, as a viewer, the probability of actually going to find the original video and watching the whole thing, if it's not immediately there, well, let's be honest here. And that brings me to the whole, oh, I knew they were off ever since they did this being one thing that never actually happened. So I just had to unfollow, still actively following and engaging with all the content. Like, this whole phenomenon just really does me in, because like this is the final boss of comment misinformation. Because beyond the whole cash grab, the AdSense, the creator fund of it all, this is just the grift. Like, we're having times now where influencers and content creators are intentionally foregoing their responsibility as storytellers to ensure what they're saying is substantiated and true. Like, we gotta bring back citing your sources.
Y'all worried about media literacy. You need to be worried about how you on the internet with people who have never done DBQs before. There are motherfuckers on the internet who don't know what a DBQ is, a document-based question. Like, these motherfuckers don't even know. They also don't know what a primary source, secondary, or tertiary source is, and they don't know how to choose in between. They don't know which one is which. They also cannot tell you what a credible source is or what makes a source credible. They have never made an annotated bibliography a day in their freaking life. Media literacy. These niggas aren't literate. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, you niggas the media. These niggas can't read an article and figure out if the source is credible or not, or where did it come from. They are not literate. Like, they're not literate.
Like, aside from the cash grab from the attention and engagement, as if money wasn't enough of a factor, what else do these creators or just people who are posting online gain from creating? Well, again, a lot of y'all don't like me saying this, but a lot of this content, especially the more grifty content, is skewed, whether intentionally or not, to funnel people down different pipelines, and usually oftentimes the alt-right one. Like, for example, let's start with something fairly recent. We're talking about the DoorDash situation and its similarities to things like Gamergate. All right, quick rundown, and again, do your own due diligence here because I'm not getting into the weeds of it, but the DoorDash situation that was recently in the zeitgeist and of course sparked a lot of discourse. Basically started off when a woman went to drop off a DoorDash order and the man who ordered said DoorDash order had his door open. And of course the discourse around this is to what degree the door was open, where he was laying partially naked inside. And the woman who recorded this made a whole video on TikTok about this experience, saying that she was essayed. And in response, DoorDash deactivated her account because it violated their terms to share private customer information. And as a result of this, the internet erupted into arguments about the intentions of the man, the ethics of her recording him in his home, and the semantics of her using the term SA over things like SH or whatever. Like, regardless, a horrific experience nonetheless. And at least for me with that situation, it was wild seeing people be like, yeah, he shouldn't have flashed or committed indecent exposure when he himself ordered a person to drop off food at his door, but she shouldn't have taken it to the internet and that's her fault, and they are both equally at fault. Like, I don't understand how those two things are the same thing. Like, again, I'm not getting into the weeds, but I think that like he definitely should not have done that knowing that he ordered food, but like her coming online and sharing her experience deserve the same level of punitive judgment, and that makes it both their fault. I don't know. Anyways, like, we all know how convoluted the DoorDash situation got and every opinion and hateful remark that has already been made on it already. But for this and a lot of other things, we do got to think a lot bigger than the program, guys. Like, for example, why did the public opinion immediately turn on a woman over semantics? Like, I've also seen people in the comments be like, he has a criminal record and she has a criminal record, or she opened the door. Like, things that are just like not in the video or accessible information, and it's not under just one video. It's different people under multiple videos. Like, where did y'all get this information from? And the reason I bring this up at all is because it reminds me a bit of the 2014 Gamergate situation, which was an online harassment movement to dissuade women and diversity in the gamer world, mostly targeting actors, journalists, game developers, women, and BIPOC who were in the positions of creation in the field. During this era, there was insane online harassment for merely existing in the space. These people got doxxed, death threats, and just severe online bullying, where to this day, if you look up some of the victims, some subreddits still try to be like, oh yeah, she's a bitch. So like, that level of hate's deserved, right? Which I think is just people trying to justify their actions. And it's hard to believe most of what was read because a lot of it is skewed, especially when the majority of people that were impacted by Gamergate did nothing except want to be in gaming spaces. And obviously in this case, this is incel behavior, and the reaction to someone other than themselves being in this space created, or at least contributed to, the alt-right pipeline.
Crying the forced diversity of the new trilogy. almost 40 years, we've taken one kind of person and made them the center of the world and catered to their every single whim and not really represented other people. So as we're having, societal change where we're showing other kinds of people as the heroes, there are a lot of people that generally, they feel like something has been stolen from them.
They directed their anger at Kelly Marie Tran, the first woman of color to hold a major on-screen role in the Star Wars franchise.
A lot of fans who kind of had racist and sexist inclinations were able to band together and drive her off social media platforms.
And these two moments have a very similar vibe to them because it's the wave of people spreading hateful rhetoric about women and essentially rage baiting the public into thinking that these women committed a horrific catastrophe. The theme here being that the punishment is not fitting the crime, even in some of the cases where a crime was not committed at all. These situations really show that people do not care to find out real information. They just want a reason to hate women and people of color, so they're gonna do it. And that sort of leads me down the pipeline around the trickiness of TikTok and other social media platforms and accidentally agreeing with someone who wants your existence eradicated. Now, what I mean by this, and I'll go back to the DoorDash situation for this, is there are mass amounts of people reposting and agreeing with takes on the situation for people who had a long history of spouting either incorrect or just generally offensive takes, or just generally believing in things completely in contrast with most viewers' values. Like again, you also have to do your due diligence when you agree with a take, because sorry to tell you, that take could just be a dog whistle to get you to agree with more progressively sinister takes. And for this, I'm not saying that you can never agree with people with different values or views than you, but if the person you're now suddenly agreeing with has a long history of making problematic or bad takes, then it stands to reason that more than likely their take on the situation that you agree with also has a problematic skew. Like they could technically be in alignment with your opinion, but for the wrong reasons. Like for example, going back to that viral Mehdi Hassan Jubilee video that we covered a while ago, where there were literal white nationalists and alt-right people agreeing that Palestine should be free, but like not because they actually cared about the lives of Palestinian people, they just don't believe that Jewish people should exist at all, because they're so into white superiority, white Christianity, so essentially just straight up anti-Semitic. So yeah, technically you're both fighting for the same thing, wanting a free Palestine, but like the reasonings behind why you want a free Palestine are completely different and lead to completely different outcome, which again, I can't believe I have to know, but also like supporting a free Palestine is not inherently anti-Semitic. I just want to put that out there. But again, this is all to say, be careful who you're listening to and who you're agreeing with. And it's annoying and inconvenient, but important that you do that due diligence. And I know at this point you may be asking, Rumi, what don't we have to look out for online? And truly, I wish I could tell you that that's it. Just watch out for the grifters, watch out for the misleading comments, the misleading stitches, but I fear there is another thing. And that has to do with the sheer amount of inauthentic content online, meaning the bots in comment sections, spouting the same rhetoric over and over to try and sway public opinion. And this is actually a more modern and malicious tool called astroturfing. Like, I don't know if you saw the new Superman movie where they had like the bunch of monkeys that were just typing hate comments over and over again to make people think that the public sentiment was that everyone hates Superman. But like, that's actually real. That actually happens. Maybe not like the monkeys part, but the whole point of astroturfing is to make discourse around anything seem like the majority opinion is swaying a certain way or not, which is a form of disinformation. Like most of the comments, if you go to different comment sections about similar discourse, will read the exact same, and the accounts don't seem to be actual people, which really makes you wonder, like, if the internet right now is filled with fake influencers, fake video receipts, fake comments, and fake engagement, like how much of the internet is actually real anymore?
The dead internet theory is a speculative theory that claims that most of what we see on the internet, social media posts, articles, comments, isn't coming from real humans, but is actually coming from bots and AI systems. Originally, when the theory was invented in like 2021, it was referring to bots in systems of engagement on the internet. So think like likes, comments, reposts, kind of like a ghost audience faking virality. But now, with AI, the scope of the dead internet theory has now expanded to include not just the engagement being fake, but the actual content itself. Last week, we saw the release of Sora 2, the most realistic, lifelike AI video generator yet, with deepfakes literally built in as a feature. God, wild choice. And so, of course, everyone's wondering how long until my entire feed and the entire internet is just filled with this.
And when it comes to the dead internet theory, this theory has been around for a while now. Like, it's the idea that all engagement, likes, comments, shares, what have you, may be bot created or bot farmed. Like, I feel like there was a time where people would like ironically buy bots for like their friends to like boost their followers on Instagram just to piss people off. But in more recent times, especially considering where AI is, this is extended to also include bot/AI created content. So it posits that soon all content, or at least the majority of content online, will soon be AI manufactured, and it will eventually outweigh human-made content, essentially making social media kind of pointless if you think about it. Which is like a giant sidebar. I hope if that does happen, this leads to the resurgence of physical media. Because if it gets to the point where like we can no longer trust social media with the giant AI content fatigue of it all, it would be nice to hold our trust and just our general entertainment in the real physical 3D space. Like, you know, things are getting bad where there are now AI bot commentators.
On a major level, people are making videos and content, and the AI is just kind of downloading that video, transcribing it, and then generating a fake person, and then another fake video in the background. By the way, if you do notice, those last two clips had two different videos in the background. And then even the train one was different from the original one that I had showed you. So they're also now generating a fake video of that in the background. And you really can't tell the difference. Not only are they like, you know, stealing content and farming whatever, and, you know, now this account has 200,000 likes from just stealing content. Sure, whatever. Think about the implications of what you just saw. You can go search up those creators and see people stitching them as if they're real creators. Now, the content is real for now, but even the content there is AI generated. How long until they bring up some bullshit that never happened?
Like, if you all are mad about people stitching a video, only shaking their head to it and like pointing to it, like, just get ready for the wave of people's content and thoughts being stolen by bots. According to this Futurism article, a little over 50% of articles online are AI created, which they are framing as a positive because that percentage is plateauing and hopefully it stays like that. But like, that's still half of the internet articles just being AI slop. Like, that's just not... And like, considering how wrong Google Gemini be getting people's searches, I just don't even want to think about the levels of misinformation that's being spread right now, for real. And again, I just want to echo what I said earlier in this video over being careful around this next stage of the internet, because as we see the rise of AI, we are going to see the fall of actual proof. And we're going to have a harder time deciphering what is real and what is not. Like, if Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, is allowing people to use his likeness in all types of AI, like Sora videos, how will we be able to tell what he or any of us have or have not actually done? Okay, enough of the doom and gloom. It's time we actually talk about some solutions, some positive things, like what we can do now. In a time of mass mis and disinformation, there are some things that we can do individually to help combat this. And I decided to make a little listicle. You know, we all love a little top 5, don't we? Ugh. So here are 5 ways to use discernment and critical thinking. And of course, while the system is quite obviously flawed and there are powers greater than individuals behind these forces, we can use our attention and our due diligence as a consumer or as a creator of content to avoid spreading misinformation, fear mongering, and just general hateful chronically online behavior. Okay, with that said, are you ready for the top 5? Okay, starting off, number 1, do not take content at face value, especially if it's shaping your opinion on something. Like, if you don't care about the topic, that's fine, whatever. But like, if you repost or share a video, watch, for 1, the full video, and 2, the full video of whatever is being stitched or talked about. Get the context and don't just listen to one side. Number 2, we have to remember that we're neither a judge or the jury, but we sure all want to act like we're going to be the executioner. Like, there is some discourse that we just don't need to participate in, for real. And it's important to remember that for some things we can just log off. Number 3. Now, I know y'all aren't gonna like number 3, but number 3, check your sources. Even if it's something as simple as clicking the blue comment on TikTok to see if people are actually talking about something or if there is some real validity to whatever the blue comment is highlighting. And if something you're finding in that just really isn't sitting right with your spirit, Google it. Like, at least just to see if this is something real. But like, in such a real and raw way, let's not forget the ancient texts of actually checking reliable sources. Like, we love a primary source. A secondary source is fine. Tertiary, get on that Google, girl. And for those of us that need a refresher for what those things actually are, I know I definitely did before making this video. Here's good old Purdue to give us some refresher tips, bringing it back to old high school. Number 4, remember to consider if the content you're viewing is actually real, an ad, manufactured, or if it's just generally worth your attention. And finally, but not most importantly, number 5, something to leave you off with, if you catch yourself agreeing to something where other people or other bots taking your side or being hella hateful, racist, misogynist, homophobic, or any of the other isms or is, consider that you may not be on the right side of history. And if that's who's on your team, find some additional context and consider if people are saying things that they can't back up. Because we're no longer in the times that we old, and you don't need to be a part of a witch hunt.
Getting an award for being gay?
Yes! I mean, yes, queen. You know, you're getting it for slaying.
Besties, what is this? Hey guys, what's up? It's Emergency and welcome back to my channel. Today we are back again with another show review. Today we're talking about La Victor. More specifically, we're gonna be talking about why La Victor Season 3, the most recent season, was a flop. And I say this with the least amount of shade and best intent. But Season 3, I don't know about this one, friends. I don't know. Regardless, as we normally do, we're gonna talk about La Victor Season 3, its plot, the development that the characters got, some of the issues with this season, and finally my final recommendation for Love Victor Season 3 and Love Victor as a series as a whole. So if any of that is of interest to you, sit back, grab a snack, and let's talk about Love Victor Season 3. Really quick before we get into the video, if you are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video because it helps out with the algorithm so much. In the meantime, while we do that, we'll be looking at some pictures from my Instagram to let you know what you're missing out on if you're not already following me on there. Wow. I hate to say it, but I ate this one. This one too, back in blue. All right. And I didn't forget about you. I didn't forget about you. I love you. I love you more than anything. Did you like this video yet? Cool. Let's get into it. So Love Victor Season 3. Where are we? Where do we leave off? So if you remember from Love Victor Season 2, which I also happened to make a video on if you want to check that out before you see this one. Season 2 left us off with a cliffhanger of who is Victor going to run up to dramatically in the middle of the night knocking on their door. Because at the end of Season 2, Victor ended up hurting two man's feelings. His original lover Benji, who has an on-again, off-again relationship with, which is kind of a little bit toxic, but we'll get into that later, and his new possible fling with Raheem. And spoiler alert if you haven't seen this season already, Victor chooses to go back to Benji, and honestly, why? I honestly feel like the chemistry between Raheem and Victor was better and a lot healthier than things were with Benji, so just opening up the season like that, I was kind of like, really? Why did you leave us on a cliffhanger for you to just go with the expected choice? I don't get it. But moving on from that, the entire plot of this season really just revolves around everyone's relationships with each other. Now you may be thinking, Rumi, isn't that the plot of like every show ever? And no, because usually when plots have relationships, there's something else going on that really drives those relationships to go together. This season is literally just about couples. Like we have, of course, Victor and Benji trying to sort their stuff out. Victor and this other, what is his name? Victor and this other white man. Nick. Then we have Felix and Pilar starting a relationship and figuring out what that means. Then we have a new relationship between Lake and Lucy, which I'm living for. Mia and Andrew still going strong. And then of course, the parents of Victor and Pilar. And really the plot just bounces around these characters. And honestly, one of the relationships I'm a big fan of this season are Pilar and Felix. Just because there's so much going on in that relationship, and they also seem to like learn and grow from each other, where it doesn't just seem like one party just really wants to be with another party and there's no real growth or anything changing to make that actually work logistically. Victor, Benji. But I really did like to see Pilar and Felix's relationship develop over time. Like with their ups and downs, and trust me, they had a lot of ups and downs because it seemed like anytime they fixed something, something else happened and they had to go and refix that. But luckily at the end of the season, they ended up together. I was just happy for that relationship because they both seemed good for each other. It did seem a little random that kind of just like happened at the beginning of this season, at the end of last season, but I'm kind of here for it. Another relationship that I'm here for is Lake and Lucy, because again, on the topic of unexpected relationships, I did not expect them to get together, and that was kind of just sprung at the end of season 2, and I actually really love their dynamic. Like I feel like together they're really cute, and it really gives Lake a chance to really express herself and learn how to grow into herself, in the sense that like Lake finally starts breaking free from her mother's control and like micromanagement of her life, and through that she's able to actually love Lucy openly, which then presented its own issues once Lucy was like, you know what, I'm dipping. But overall, I feel like their relationship was really cute and a really great addition to this final season. Now, a couple that I didn't hate and actually was like one of the healthier ones, I feel. I don't know if that's safe to say on both sides, but it definitely was very entertaining. Mia and Andrew. So Mia, you know, if you see my review from season 2, I just really wanted Mia to be happy because Mia has been beat down relentlessly season after season. They just beat her down, and I do not get why, but she finally gets something good for herself after getting beat down a little bit more. Let's not lie, like this season was rough for her too. Like for one, we get confirmation that her mother is just not there for her at all. Her mother is more concerned with her career than she is with anything to do with Mia's life, which heart-wrenching. And Mia's staying with Lake because her dad, his white wife, moved off to Northern California for work and to start a family with a new baby. And then the thing with Mia this season that kind of just like perplexed me a little bit was how quick things just like changed for her as soon as she went to go see her family in Northern California once her younger stepbrother was born. Because before that, she was really like, I want to finish my life here at Creekwood. I have friends here. They're the only people I have left, and I don't want to move and upend my life. And then she goes and sees a family dynamic and sees that baby, and then she's like, you know what? it's time to go. I'm packing up my things and it's time to go. And that just kind of came as a shock for me. I guess I can attribute that to being like kind of realistic because around that age, impulsiveness is definitely a thing. And at that point, Mia has sort of seen what like the no family life is like living in Lake's house. And I could see how she'd really miss that because she is like, what, like 17 at the time? But it just seems so abrupt that it's kind of like, oh, okay, I guess what was all that in season 2 for? And then how that plays into like her relationship with Andrew. Andrew this season, I love that man, he's so fine. But regardless, we like see this like different side of him where he's like willing to sacrifice anything for Mia. And that's really cute, but also not healthy. Like it's not healthy to give 120% of yourself for someone without checking in with yourself first. Like that's not how those work, babes. Not that I know. But I'm glad eventually that they worked it out and they like established some boundaries with each other and actually learned how to like make this work even though she still wants to go. And he is definitely staying and building up his own life. I know this is a fictional show, but I just hope like after this show in like their little canon world that they are happy because at least Mia definitely deserves some happiness. Like I really just want Mia to be happy. And now the final pairing that I'm going to be talking about. I know y'all have probably been waiting for this one specifically. I've been keeping it for last for a reason. Victor and Benji. What does Victor really learn this season? Let's think about it. So Victor and Benji break up for complicated reasons. Like Benji needs space to actually do his healing, but then finds out that like his healing isn't necessarily directed towards Victor, but more so his parents, which makes sense, but also doesn't address like the thing with Victor. So Benji himself does some growth. He like learns, he goes to rehab, he like does some self-discovery, but what does Victor really learn this season? The only thing I can think of is that he learns that he does not like hookups. Because what does he do as soon as he finds out that Benji and him can't work together? He goes and finds himself another white boy. But not only that, he goes and catches a poison ivy rash for this white boy. Like, Victor, stand up. I get this is trying to represent like casual hookup culture in the gay community. The poison ivy was wild. Like, that was just wild. Like, the whole scene where he's going to the doctor. Like, for legal reasons, I will not say whether or not I felt seen by that scene, but like that was just ridiculous. Like, let's be serious here. Come on. But honestly, I feel like this season, the main takeaway I get from Victor is that he needs to learn how to be by himself. Like, he was not by himself for a very long time throughout this entire season. He just bounces from one guy to the next and goes right back. Like, since he's come out, he has not had time to really discover himself for himself. And I feel like that would have been a more powerful message than what they ended up ending the series with. And that sort of brings me into my issues with this season. Like I said, I feel like Victor really needed to be by himself and learn things from himself by being alone, but we didn't get that. And I get why we didn't get that because this season was like the series finale, and it's nice to end things with a bow and have like the couple that everyone ships be together, but like still, I just feel like it wasn't the satisfying ending that it was made out to be like there was no growth, there was no intention there. Like, Victor and Benji just end up back together. In that ending scene in the finale where Benji just pops up, I screamed at my laptop because not only was that whole scene a little cringy, it was just a complete backstep in my opinion from like all of the development that was supposed to be going on. Like, Victor's whole speech at the end where he's like, I'm gonna be brave and accept the consequences, and goes and talks to Benji and his family and gets shut down. I thought this is going to be a new leap for him. He was gonna hop on that Ferris wheel and be by himself, and that would be like, yes, I'm empowered, I'm brave, it's okay if I don't have anyone, I'm just gonna be by myself. But nor, they couldn't end it like that. And the fact that they just went back to the status quo is what makes it feel really unfinished to me. Like, I could tell they definitely tried to do like the same endings as like Love Simon or like the first season of like Love Victor, but I feel like the difference between those two things and the end of this season was that those things were a movie and the end of a season, meaning that there could be a possibility for more content afterwards to sort of really explain that. This was the series finale. This was how the show ended. And based on the way that things are going, again, the show's over. But in my own headcanon, if the show were to continue going, I feel like Victor and Benji are just gonna break up again, because while Benji has done some work for himself, Victor, in my opinion, hasn't really done enough or really changed enough as a person to really make things work with them again. Like, the underlying problems in their relationship, while are a little bit better than they were before, are still definitely there. Which is why I'm so upset that they didn't explore the whole thing with Raheem. And I get like the point of view that they're trying to get across where like two gay people can go to the same school and just be friends. But then if like that was like the point of that whole thing where like Raheem and Victor didn't get together, they kind of just went back on all that with the ending where they just put literally all the gay kids together with some random other gay kids. Like, Nick getting together with that other kid that Victor tried to help, random. Like, Raheem and his boyfriend, while they are cute, it just kind of seemed like they spawned that man out of nowhere just to give Raheem someone to end up with. Like, I just don't get it. And while we're on the topic of Raheem, I love that man down. Like, I love his actor, I love his character, and again, I'm a shipper of him and Victor. His dialogue this season, I don't know if I love it or I hate it. Like, I swear that he unironically just says, "Slay the house down, boots, mama." Like, who's was the writer? I need to know who's in the room. Like, who took the pen to the paper and wrote, "Slay the house down, boots, mama." We ate that. But yeah, those are my main issues with this season. Now I kind of want to talk about some silver linings, you know, bring the positivity back, because I feel like that was kind of negative. Like, I feel like overall, regardless of like the presentation and like the faults of the show, Love Victor as a show definitely allowed so many queer youth to feel seen in one way or another. And to that, I really appreciate. If you've been following this channel for any amount of time, you know how much I care about representation, and just like the prominence of representation, especially in queer media, like we just need more of it, and we need a diversity of it where it's not just telling one person's story or one like type of queer story. Because I feel like as minority groups go, being queer or being gay is not a monolith, and there are many different ways to express that and many different experiences that go behind that. And I feel like there should be some form of representation, some form of show to really depict that and give visibility to the communities that definitely deserve it. So to that, Love Victor, hats off. Thank you for that. I know watching this, I've definitely felt seen in different ways, and I'm sure others have too. So once again, there you go. Another silver lining to this show that I really enjoyed, like a point that I really enjoyed, was Raheem's scene at near the end of the season where he confronts Victor. And this whole fight really broke out because Raheem just like calls Victor out for being able to really choose when he like wants to be gay, when that's not really an option for Raheem. And I feel like that's a really important conversation to have, especially with what I was saying before, how there isn't just like one queer experience. Meaning that in Raheem and Victor's case, since Victor is more like masculine presenting, he was afforded in the show a lot of different luxuries and didn't really have to worry about being made fun of or really hate crime, because he wasn't as, I hate to say this, but stereotypically gay presenting, or at least what people initially think of as like a stereotype for like gay people. Whereas Raheem, who is more flamboyant, both in the way that he dresses and the way that he expresses himself, has to deal with more of those repercussions and doesn't really have the option to really cover up. Or when he does, specifically like when he did for his like family in this season, it honestly like tears at his soul. And honestly, I feel like that conversation was well done and definitely needed in this show. And I'm glad that it was there. But yeah, I definitely recommend this show for anyone who wants something light, something that focuses around queer media. Don't get me wrong, this season was definitely a flop and a little cringe, but I'd still recommend it for anyone that wants to see some more queer media, because like I said, we need more of it. Y'all have been asking me to bring back the ratings at the end of these. I kind of stopped doing them after a while, but I'll bring it back for Love Victor. I'd say that the season overall gets a 6 out of 10. Not terrible, but also not great. And the show as a whole, compiling all the seasons together, I would say is a solid 7 out of 10. Yeah, that feels good. But yeah, that's all I gotta say on Love Victor, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you're new to the channel, then hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video because it helps out so much. Follow me on all my socials at imergency, and other than that, I will see you in the next video. Peace.
BT.
Ooh, we're back again. Hey guys, what's up? It's Emergency and welcome back to my channel. Today we are here on this lovely day because the BET Awards have just happened. Well, at least have just happened by the time I'm recording this. I'm sure by the time this is up, it's been a couple days. But regardless, the BET Awards have just happened, and there have been a myriad, SCT word, catch that, a myriad of looks. Some good, some bad, some that eat, devour, feast, and then some that are nibbling, maybe even starving, if you will. And if you've seen me here in this lovely blanket before, you know what we're going to do. And that is give our unsolicited and unprofessional opinions on these outfits, even though I could probably never even afford or will even wear anything close to that caliber. So yeah, let's rate some BET looks. Now I know that y'all have been asking for the longest time to make these fashion review videos longer, and I will try my very best, and I've heard you, and I will try to deliver. We have a long list of celebrity outfits to go through. So if you haven't already, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and leave a like on this video because it helps me out so much you don't even know. In fact, I'll give you time to do that, and while you hit that like button, I will reveal today's outfit. Today, I decided to go with something a little bit classy, flashy, I don't know. Today we're wearing a cute little proper tone jacket and just a white tee underneath. But yeah, have you liked the video yet? You liked it? Cool, let's actually get into this. So the BET Awards are known usually by their fashion, because usually it's the time for drip, it's time for some really interesting outfits and just to flex, because BET is about Black excellence. Well, it should be about Black excellence in entertainment, but you know, Lil Nas X got a little slighted. So my opinions on the award show are kind of iffy. But yeah, I'm feeling the general theme here to be like drippy, just very, if that translates into words, which it probably doesn't. Again, if you're new here and don't know how we do these reviews, we go through a bunch of looks and rate them based on my scale of consumption, which starts from starves to nibbles to chews to eats to devours to feasts. And if someone's feasting, that's a moment right there. We'll remember that one for a while. And like I said, with all these, take my opinion with a very, very, very small grain of salt, because I have no qualification to do this. So for whatever reason you don't agree with my opinions, you're gonna be like, what does this guy be wearing? You can check out my Instagram here at Emergency. You might like it, you might not. It's hit or miss. Feel free to do the same thing I'm doing to them to me. But yeah, first look of the night, Lizzo. In Lizzo right here, Lizzo is giving opulence. I'm sorry, Lizzo's giving opulence. Just look at this. She's dressed in custom Gucci, and I just love this look. I really just love this look. From the hair to the train to like the frills at the ends of the dress and at the ends of the sleeves, I just love it. It just gives opulent, and I love me some black opulence. So for this, Lizzo devours. Lizzo definitely devours on this. You can't tell me that she doesn't. And if you don't agree, that's okay, but you might not be correct. I know this is only the second look, but we're about to get kind of controversial here. The one white boy at the event, Jack Harlow. I've seen a lot of discourse on Twitter about this outfit. A lot of people saying different things. He was wearing a Lil Nas X t-shirt and then like some black jeans and shorts and a little chain. And honestly, the chain is taking me out because I love Jack Harlow, but he looks like a Hot Topic employee right now. And before I give my opinions, if you don't know the tea on this whole situation, Lil Nas X did not get nominated for any awards for the BET Awards. And Jack Harlow did, even though respectfully, Jack Harlow was put on the map, at least mainstreamly, by Lil Nas X with his collab on Industry Baby. That song gave Jack Harlow an incredible amount of visibility. And Lil Nas X had some of the biggest songs of the past year. So really it doesn't make sense why he wasn't nominated for a BET award when he was nominated for like a Grammy. So many other prestigious awards. It just didn't really make sense why BET wouldn't do that, especially since he's in the community. So I'm taking this as Jack Harlow's way of paying homage to Lil Nas, like giving credit to Lil Nas even though he's not there. Honestly, I love it, and based on Lil Nas's reaction on social media, he loves it as well. I saw this one tweet that was like, if Jack Harlow really cared as a friend and really like meant what he's standing for right now so seriously, he wouldn't have shown up to the event or accepted his nomination, which I could definitely understand, but it seems like Lil Nas is okay with it. It'd be a different story if he wasn't. He was like, Jack, what the fuck? But he seemed okay with it, and honestly, for the sake of the drama, I have to say, like, this outfit eats. As Hot Topic as it is, it eats. Like, y'all know on my heart of hearts how much I love Lil Nas X, and I do really, really, really love Lil Nas X. So like, this was cute. This was a cute little moment. Outfit wise in general, Hot Topic-y. But for the messaging, it eats. We're just talking stars. Next up, Chloe Bailey. Chloe Bailey. Chloe Bailey. Chloe is wearing this beautiful black Nicholas Gibran gown, and the gown eats down. I'm sorry, the gown eats down. It's giving me sort of, I know I say this for every time I see something like black that's like all, you know, but it's giving me Venom vibes. Honestly, a mix of Venom and Ursula, and I love both of those characters so much. And I love Chloe so much. And I also see that there's like some sparkly detailing, if I'm looking at this correctly, like some sequins. And lately, I've been a really big fan of sequins. Sequins have been coming back, or at least have been more popular recently in just outfits, and I love me a sequin moment. So Chloe Bailey, Chloe devours. I'm sorry. I just love this outfit. Now, I think it'd be a disservice to us all if we talked about Chloe Bailey, but we didn't talk about Halle Bailey, because Halle Bailey was there too with her man DDG. She will never not look good. I promise you that. I have never seen Halle Bailey not look good. However, this dress is not my favorite. Out of all the dresses that I've seen her wear lately, this is not my favorite, but that does not mean that she does not look good, because she does. Like, I mean, look at her. I mean, like, the woman is beautiful, gorgeous. Like, Halle, if you see this, I love you. Probably not more than DDG loves you, but I love you. So for this to say that Halle eats, but then DDG comes along, and DDG, I'm honestly not a fan. It's just like the typical like man turtleneck and pants, and then you got a whole bunch of chains on them, which I mean cool, but not necessarily original. DDG nibbles, but Halle eats. I'll leave that at that. Let's talk about Blac Chyna. I don't know why I did that. Blac Chyna's outfit is interesting. This is interesting. Like, I don't think I've seen something like this in a very long time, and I like it. I really do like it. I feel like the sparkly boot plate might like be a lot for some people. I really like it. Blac Chyna eats. Brandy Evans, if you don't know her and you haven't seen P-Valley, fix both of those things. I think this dress is cute. I love the coordination of like the gold from like the earrings to like the pocketbook. Pocketbook? Do people call it a pocketbook, or did I just make that up? And the heels, I like it. I think it's solid. And for like the BET Awards, I'd say she eats. Now let's talk about something a little different. Santana. Saucy Santana. I know Twitter had a field day with this one. There's a lot going on here. Saucy Santana. I love Santana down. Santana is hilarious. Makes great music. These boots. The Grinch Oompa Loompa Stompers. That was wrong of me. That was wrong with me. That was uncouth. I take that back. It just reminds me of, I think it was the BMAs, the outfit that Taylor Parks wore that kind of looked like Bowser. It's giving me that energy. Up top is giving, like I think that's Houndstooth. Like the neon green and yellow Houndstooth little blazer dress moment. I love it. The figure accentuated. Coca-Cola body. Like he's giving Coca-Cola body. But then you get to the boots. I don't know how I feel about this. Like from the waist up, Santana eats. From the legs down, she's nibbling. She's real, like them nibbling. Oh my God. I hope Santana don't see this. Cause baby, I love you. Okay, next up, Ari Lennox. I like this look on Ari. It gives me Halloween-y vibes, but in the best way possible. It reminds me of a dress out of a Tim Burton movie, and I really do love that look for Ari. Ari eats. Ari eats. I know I said before that a lot of looks were questionable, but so far, maybe it's just like a black thing, but like a lot of people have been eating. I haven't seen too many questionable outfits. Oh, wait. Never mind. Chance the Rapper. Chance here, I can see definitely went for the drip approach. I just think there's a lot going on here. I'm not personally a fan of it. In my opinion, Chance is nibbling. I don't feel like I'm the target audience of this outfit. But circling around, let's talk about Coi Leray. Coi Leray, hello. In my opinion, Coi Leray ate down on this all denim outfit, like the oversized denim jacket. The denim thigh-high boots. I just think that it's a look. It's by Alexander Wang, and I love Alexander Wang. I really think Coi ate this up. Maybe even devoured. Giveon! I don't think Giveon's ever really impressed me necessarily with like an outfit, just because he tends to dress more traditionally, which is understandable. But when it comes to men's fashion, I really do like things that are more out the box and not as traditional, more unconventional. Just because I like to see like menswear go more that direction as opposed to what we've seen before. Like for this one, he doesn't look bad, but I'm just not wowed, so I'd have to say he choose. Time for another controversial outfit, Summer Walker. And honestly, this one's just different. Like this is very different. I don't think anyone was expecting this from Summer Walker or just in general, which isn't a bad thing. I definitely feel like it's a statement outfit. I just don't know if I like it per se. Like it's definitely interesting and it by no means is a bad outfit. I'm just not a fan. So for that, I say Summer Walker choose. Next up is Doechii, and Doechii is always wearing something interesting. Like I have never been bored by a Doechii outfit, and I definitely have not started to today. Like hello, this is just interesting. Like what is that thing poking out on the side? Like I know that ain't her leg going all the way over there. I just like how different it is, and I feel like it really goes in line with Doechii's brand. The more I look at it, that thing coming out the side is kind of perplexing me. Like it makes you think. Like Doechii eats this. She does. Janelle Monáe, another beauty. This outfit is very interesting and has a lot going on, which I can appreciate. I'd say that Janelle definitely choose, but choose with like definitely some big bites. Like she's eating it. Like it's just almost there. But yeah, Janelle, I love you. And next up we have Money Long, and her dress is interesting. It's really pretty. It's a lot of tulle. It kind of gives like loofah, but in a good way. I really don't know how to feel about this. Like I don't not like it, but I don't love it. You know? I'd say that Money Long also choose here. Michael Blackson. There's a lot here. I'm actually not too familiar with Michael Blackson, but by this outfit, he nibbles. There's just a lot going on and it definitely is drippy. I'm just not a big fan of it. I'd say he nibbles here. Actually, no. What? It's different. It's different. I'll give points for it being different. I just don't think it's the most eye-appealing. Out from the cut, like nothing went wrong in his life. Jussie Smollett. And honestly, I don't know what's funnier, like just his appearance there or just like the pose. Like he just seems like he's happy to be there. Like he's just like, yeah, I'm here. He's not giving us too much. He's definitely not trying to stand out here. He has a lot going on, and has had a lot going on recently. He nibbles, respectfully. That was getting into something. Victoria Monet, this dress. Y'all know how I feel about the sequins. And like the flower cups, it's giving me Ariana Break Free music video with the boo-boo. I just really love this look. I love the brown on her. And like again, similar to Lizzo, it's giving opulence. It's giving a cupped wave when you see someone, not an open hand. It's like, so for that, she devours, maybe even feasts. You know, she's flabbergasted. Now let's talk about flabbergasted in a different way. Billy Porter. Billy Porter normally eats down, and I love Billy Porter's style, but this one kind of confuses me. It makes me uncomfortable. Like it's the shoulders. The shoulders for me are what take me, like, I don't like those shoulders. I don't like how they, I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not a fan. The shoes are a different story. I love me a platform, but ooh, those shoulders really do, they do something for me and not in a good way. Billy's nibbling right now, in my opinion. Billy, I'm so sorry. Next up, Jabari Banks. I love Jabari Banks. One thing about me, I'm gonna love and support Jabari Banks. He's out here in a pink suit. I'm not a huge fan of like regular suits. Let me see if there's like anything different about this. I think he has like a bow tie on and like the pink and black, like it's different for a suit. But Jabari, if for whatever reason you're seeing this, for whatever reason, do something a little extra. Do something a little extra, you know? Like, I know you can rock a suit. I know you can rock a suit. But if you just do something a little different, it doesn't have to be something crazy. Just something, step outside the box just a little bit, outside of like the suit realm, and you're gonna have it. You're gonna have it. But Jabari here choose. And actually on the theme of pink suits that are a little bit oversized, his twin of them, Diddy, I somehow like this less. Diddy's nibbling. Props to the pink suit though. Coco Jones. Oh my goodness. Coco's never looked bad. I love Coco Jones. She's beautiful. This is beautiful. Like, I have no words except that she devours. She devours. You can argue with yourself if you want. I will have no other opinions on this. Coco devours. Marsai Martin. Oh my god! Both of her outfits, the outfit that she wore on the red carpet and the outfit that she wore on the award show, that girl can dress. That girl can dress. And she's pretty too. Like, I love her. I love her. She's amazing. Like, her first red carpet outfit eats, but the award show outfit devours. And I will, again, have no further comment on that. Now another controversial outfit, Jada Chaves. I hope I said that right. I probably butchered her last name. Jada Chaves, aka Jada Weda. This outfit changes color every time I see it. Like, sometimes it's like a lilac pink, but on her pictures it seemed like it was more white. I think it's interesting, and as someone who just recently wore a chest plate, I cannot fault the breastplate usage. I saw someone on Twitter call it a shark tooth, and that's just disrespectful. I don't know why you'd say that. I think it's interesting. I don't hate it. I'm just going to say that she choose. Like, Jada Weda, choose. Next up, Keke Palmer. And I love me some Keke. Keke seems like an amazing person. The dress that she's wearing is very interesting. I am not a huge fan of it, but maybe I just don't get it. Maybe I just don't get it. Maybe the problem's with me, because if Keke's wearing it, then it has to be fashion. I'm just gonna say this one's on me, and I'm gonna say that Keke nibbles. And that's on me. That's on me. That one is completely on me. Lotto's outfit is interesting. It's giving like catsuit kind of vibes. I like it. It's kind of flossy. It's kind of different. And for that, I have to say that Lotto eats. Finally, the last two outfits of the night that I'm going to be talking about tonight are the City Girls. JT and Carisha. JT's outfit is giving opulence. Like, I feel like that is a very opulent outfit. It fits her very well and it suits her. I don't think I've seen her in something like this. Young Miami or Carisha. I feel like I've seen this outfit before. I don't know where. I can't put my foot on it. I like it, but I feel like I've seen it before. I'm thinking either Nicki, Rihanna, or Beyonce. One of those three have worn something similar to this. Please let me know in the comments if I'm just completely off, or if someone did wear something like this. Like, this red is very familiar to me. I definitely like JT's outfit more, but I'd say that they both eat. But yeah, those were a lot of outfits. I hope that this video was longer and I hope that you enjoyed it. Of course, I am sure that I left out tons and tons of people. So let me know down in the comments below who your favorite outfit was of the night, and whose outfit could you not believe that I missed, if I did miss some of your faves. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, make sure to hit the subscribe button and to leave a like on this video, because it helps out so much. Again, make sure to follow me on my social medias, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, @imergency. But other than that, y'all, thank you so much for watching. I've been Emergency, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. Well, it's over now. Hey guys, what's up? It's Emergency and welcome back to my channel. Today we are back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Stranger Things Season 4 Volume 2. And honestly, wow, because so much went down in these 2 episodes, and we have a lot to talk about. We're gonna break it down. I'm gonna give some thoughts, some opinions, and probably some predictions for Season 5, because Season 5 is confirmed to be coming out within the next 2 years. Also, before we get into anything, make sure to leave your comments down below about what you thought about Season 4 Volume 2, because I want to know. And of course, as always, make sure to leave a like on this video, because it helps out the channel so much. And I'll give you some time to like the video while I sip my tea to some dramatic Stranger Things music. Okay, you did it? Cool. Let's get started. So like I said, Volume 2 brought us a lot of content. They gave us over 3 hours of content in just 2 episodes. And honestly, an amazing feat for the showrunners of Stranger Things. But because of that, we're also going to break this review up into 2 sections, 1 video, 2 sections. We're going to talk about episode 8 really briefly, and then we're going to really get into episode 9 because I feel like that is where all the meat and the juice and the drama of Volume 2 really resides. So episode 8, I feel like there were like 2 major things that went down. To be honest, episode 8 was not my favorite. I definitely preferred 9 over 8 just because there's just more going on. So the first thing, and honestly one of the more emotionally charged scenes, had to have been that scene with Will and Mike and Jonathan in Argyle's van. You know the scene I'm talking about? The one where Will finally shows Mike his painting, what he's been working on. And in my mind, I was gagged because I thought it was fully going to be like a self-portrait of Mike. A portrait of Mike. But it was actually something better and more couth. But that scene where Will is trying to comfort Mike and is describing Eleven's relationship with Mike through how Will wants to be seen by Mike. Oh my god, like if we have not had confirmation yet that Will is a little, I don't know what else will do it because it's so clear to everyone except for Mike that Will really does have love for Mike. I wish that they'd explicitly say it and not kind of skirt around it, but that scene just really hurt because you see Will turn and start sobbing because he just bore so out for Mike and Mike is clueless. Honestly, it's kind of fated to fail from the start because Mike, I feel is never going to reciprocate that. So it's kind of a sad situation for Will, but it's nice that we're getting more and more confirmation that he is not straight. Also, Jonathan, more so in the final episode, but still in this episode, definitely gets the Brother of the Year award because the way that he's just in tune with his brother, Mike did not pick up what Will was really laying down, but Jonathan did from the front seat, and he was just oh, something's not right here, something's not right, I need to talk to my brother, and he dies in the finale. But we'll get there. But aside from that scene, most of this episode kind of focused on Elle and her training arc. They had some scenes with the Hopper crew, but I feel the majority of the episode was focused on Eleven. And Eleven officially has her powers back, and I'm really not sure if that meant that she's stronger than she was before, or if she's just where she was at before she lost her powers, because she doesn't really get time to train to the capacity that Papa, Mr. Man, I forget his name, that Papa wants her to train to. And honestly, Papa, you got what was coming to you. You really did get what was coming to you, because the second that he was you can't leave, I was oh, because I really thought, maybe this is just naive on me, I really thought that he maybe turned over a new leaf and was really just genuinely trying to look out for the best for Eleven, but still to the end it seems he was really just looking out for his own self-interest and disguising that as a care for Eleven. So once we got to the scene where all the military people broke into the Nina base, I was so happy because I knew that the end times were coming for Papa. Although I will say he is a resilient old man, because how do you get thrown telepathically onto a metal structure with great force, right? And then just still be fine. At your big age, how are you able to walk that off? And like I said, those are the 2 major things that at least I feel went down in episode 8. Episode 9, let's talk about that for a second. Episode 9 was a feature film. It was a feature film. 2 hours and 22 minutes. Are you for real? That's longer than some Marvel movies. Again, Stranger Things, I respect you for that because that was ambitious and I feel y'all kind of pulled it off. There was a lot going on in episode 9 with a lot of people in a lot of different places doing a lot of different things. And honestly, it got to a point where it was kind of confusing, where it was kind of overwhelming. Actually, let me know if that was just me, because that also could have just been a me thing. I was just really oh my god, what is going on here? But don't worry, I eventually caught on. Somehow all the parties, the Hawkins group, the Upside Down group, the Russia group, and the California group managed to work together to take down Vecna, or at least what they thought was taking down Vecna. One of my favorite parts about this episode was the fact that the Cali boys were finally put to use. They finally had a purpose this season. Because I feel they went through the entirety of season 4 being the least interesting plot point and just doing the absolute least. They really needed 11 to be relevant to the story as a whole. And even then, once they got 11, it wasn't about them, it was about 11. And while I'm on that note, Argyle, Now that the season's over, I could probably have my thoughts and opinions. I thought I would like Argyle more than I actually did. I kind of just feel like he's just there for like comedic relief, which is fine because there are also other characters that are there for comedic relief, but I feel like with other characters, they serve more of a purpose. Like Argyle really is just there to like have like stoner jokes and then just drive people around. And a lot of the times, most of the scenes where like Argyle is like the focus, like when they're at like the pizza joint and like the two, like Argyle and his tether are talking to each other, I was like, oh, I could see how this is funny, but like, let's get to the good stuff, you know? And I'm just really hoping if Argyle stays on for season 5, that he gets more of a impactful role, because there were definitely other characters that were introduced this season that had more of an impact in their 1 season runtime than Argyle is in his possible 2 season. And by said person, I basically mean Eddie. Cue the music! Let's have a brief moment in remembrance of Eddie Munson. He was a great character through and through. He lasted 9 episodes in the Stranger Things universe, and honestly, he was a highlight of the season. But let's talk about it. So we all had theories, right? We all had theories that someone was going to die at the end of season 4. If you saw my review for part 1 of Stranger Things season 4, you know that I had been asking, and a lot of other people have been asking for some real stakes in this show, for someone to kick the bucket, and I feel like we got that to a certain extent. I have been seeing some discourse online about aspects of the finale that kind of take away from like the stakes, specifically with Max, which we'll get into, but with Eddie, he's confirmed croaked. At least for now. You know how Stranger Things likes to bring people back. So who knows, in season 5 he might come back as like a Vecna adjacent. But as far as we know now, Eddie is no more. And honestly, I feel like the way that he went out, I don't know if it was necessarily necessary for him to hang back and fight the bats. Although I get that if he didn't, maybe the bats would have followed them into like the human world and or went back to Vecna's house and caused some trouble there. I don't know, I'm just kind of sad because I really liked Eddie as a character. And him and Dustin's moment at the very end, they were acting their asses off. I'm sorry, they were acting their asses off. Like I felt so sad, but I feel like it was necessary to move the plot along and again to show some stakes, because Eddie really did become one of the integral members of the cast. Like he felt in like his short amount of screen time like he was one of the main characters, unlike other characters that happened to croak, like Billy, who was more of an antagonist role. And speaking of people who acted their asses down, Lucas this episode, oh my god, he finally got his moment. Like I had been waiting for his moment all season. Like at the beginning of the season, I was kind of nervous because he was sort of more of like a background character, and he had his moment where he was like trying to fit in and be popular and stuff, which I didn't really care for. But this episode, when he's fighting down physically, metaphorically for Max, and when he's fighting that, I forget his name, that one white boy that plays sports, the captain. I love Lucas down. Like even from like the simple facial expressions, like his face when he saw Max get lifted and then start. Something is wrong with me. Something is wrong because that was so not okay. But you know what I mean? When she started getting Vecna'd, honestly just a powerful performance because you can just hear and see the pain that he's like losing Max. And that also brings up a question for me, tangent, about the sports guy, you know, sports captain who was like having these conspiracy theories about the Hellfire Club. Did the rest of them kind of just like give up after he got split in 2 by the earthquake? Because that was satisfying. When he got fissured, that was satisfying. But did the rest of them kind of just like give up? Because why did they only send 2 people? Like if they knew they were going to have like the final showdown, why were only 2 of them there? Like Erica beat the first guy down. Love you, Erica. But why send only 1 reinforcement? I don't know. But let's talk about the final fight. Let's talk about Max, Vecna, and 11. So as we know, spoiler alert, actually I don't even know if this deep in the video, it's already spoilers. But Max gets Vecna'd. And that whole scene where like 11 is just like pinned there and Vecna's doing his whole like thing. And Will comes out of nowhere and he's like, 11, I love you. I love you. I've always loved you. I'm sorry, that took me at the scene because 11 is fully hemmed up, like she's being choked down, suffering, tears rolling down. And she hears this little boy's voice being like, 11, I love you. Like if I was 11, I'd have been like, shut up. Like, shut up. I am fighting for my life here and you're here trying to tell me I love you? Please. But I guess for her that gave her the strength that she needed, because then all of a sudden she just like does whatever mind thing she did. I don't really understand if it was just like a general like force of energy or if she like actually like directed it at Vecna, because when they cut to black, do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember that scene? Because this took me out for no reason. When they cut to black and they come back and Vecna is just like, I'm sorry, that took me out because I was not expecting to see Vecna flailing in the air. But getting back to Max, I'm really confused because it really made it seem like they were going to kill off Max because of that whole scene again with like Lucas and Max where she's like, I don't want to die, I'm not ready to die, and having Lucas and 11 sob over her. Only for it to come out like after a 2-day time skip, which was kind of weird, that she's like in a coma because 11 somehow restarted her heart through like, I was gonna say mental math, please. Through like her powers, which we also don't have an explanation for yet. I'm just kind of confused, and this is like where some of like the controversy comes from for this episode, because a lot of people feel like if they're going to kill off Max, they should have just killed off Max, like let it be done, instead of either dragging it out or like making it ambiguous and like bringing her back. But honestly, I don't know how to feel about this. I honestly could have gone either way and enjoyed it either way. I'm just interested to see like what route they take with this, because you remember that scene where 11 comes back and she's like searching inside Max's mind when she's in the coma and she doesn't see anything. Initially I thought that was because maybe when 11 brought back Max, she only brought back the vital functions where she needs to live, but mentally Max is already gone and like taken by Vecna, which will be very dark. And if they go that route season 5, I'll be like, wow, because that would definitely be a darker turn. But it could also be that like she just didn't find her in her like couple seconds of like searching around Max's mind. But regardless, I feel like they're definitely setting up a lot for season 5. I personally enjoyed how much time they spent setting up for season 5, because it seems like they're going right from season 4 into season 5. Like there's no time skip, there's no nothing, because Vecna is somehow back and ready for more smoke after Nancy put a bullet in him. It only took him 2 days. It only took him 2 days. He had to rest up and then he was ready for more. But yeah, they spent a lot of time showing like the fallout from like the earthquakes that happened after Vecna collected his 4th soul. Quick note on that. The earthquakes, I thought it was going to be more torrential. Again, we might get that in season 5. We might see like how bad it's actually gonna get. But the earthquakes looked cool when Nancy was being showed them in her memories. They looked like they were going to be like terrible, terrible, terrible. And it still was a bad destruction, but I thought like the whole city would be plundered. So when that scene ended where it was just like the 2 crossroads of like rift opening up, I was kind of like, oh, that's it? Nothing's gonna come out, nothing's gonna fall in, like what? That's it? But apparently the actual reaction from like the earthquake takes like a 2-day time period to actually like do something. So yeah, the very last scene of the finale makes it seem like we're about to get something really juicy, something cinematic, and honestly, possibly maybe even traumatic. But I'm really excited for it, and I hope you are too. Some other quick things I just wanted to mention. It seems like Robin's love interest might be coming on again for season 5. It might be a part of like the main cast, because the way that they were setting it up where she's finally talking to Girly makes it seem like there's going to be some development here in that she's going to get in the mix along with the rest of the group, and I really do love that. Another thing I want to point out, just like a minor thing, I really did like the symbolism of Elle's hair this season, because I feel like at the beginning of the season, Elle's hair is matching the family that she's living with, so she got the buyer's bangs. Every last one of them got some bangs, and she copped herself some bangs too. But now that she's back under the care of Hopper, they both bald-headed, and honestly I love that. I really do love that. I love that little symbolism showing like where she's at. And finally, the last question that I have, where are Murray and that Russian dude? Where'd they go? Because out the government car, when Joyce and Hopper appeared, I didn't see any Murray or Russians. So I'm not sure if like they got dropped off beforehand, or if they're just sitting around somewhere else. Like, how are they going to be a part of season 5? Because I'm sure they are. I honestly guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, those are all my thoughts for Stranger Things season 4 volume 2. I really did enjoy these 2 episodes and enjoyed season 4 as a whole. I definitely keep what I said in my last video. I did enjoy season 4 a lot more than I did season 3. And for that, I have to give it a 8.5 out of 10. But yeah, like I said before, let me know what you thought about season 4 in volume 2 down in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on my post notifications, leave a like, follow me on socials, all of that. But other than that, y'all, thank you so much for watching. I've been Emergency, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.